fun floor sequence that incorporates a little bit of hand balancing, a little bit of flexibility, and a little bit of sensual flow. How much of each of those three it is really up to you and what you want to make of it. Okay. If you've worked on your croc before, this one will make sense as far as like the placement and that kind of thing, but you don't have to have a croc already to be able to get this. Okay. Splits, you don't have to have a split for this one. You can make the leg shapes whatever you want it to be. If you want to make it more of a split, straight legs, bent legs, whatever, do you. Okay. So let's just go over some of the basics for where this is going to start. If you are on the tighter side with your vertical splits, I would recommend spending even just a few minutes kind of warming those up, because it definitely will get into some hip flexor stretch on the leg that's farthest away initially and some hamstring stretch on that leg that's to the front. Okay, so you don't have to get too crazy with it, but if you feel like you're struggling with this transition, that definitely will help smooth out the transition a little bit. Okay, so starting on hands and knees. Okay, you can start on forearms if you want. You can bring it up from whatever floor position you want. I'm going to start extending my legs straight back behind me. From there, the leg's going to come up to the ceiling. You can raise it straight as far as you want to and then bend, looking for your foot. Then I'm going to turn it out. Okay, a little fire hydrant, doggy peeing on a fire hydrant. Bring your knee to your shoulder and then kick and extend. Okay, how far it kicks and extend, that's the part where it's going to vary based on you. Okay, so don't beat yourself up on it if it comes to here versus here. You might want it to come here anyway. Okay, so starting with this movement, extend, bring it up, lift the knee, knee to shoulder, touch, and slide it back. Okay, that's your initial motion. Once we take it into the full transition to the hand mounts, we're not going to do the slide back part, but I find doing some of these initially just kind of helps loosen up the hips for where we're going with it, because this hip does need to have a little bit of flexibility going with it, or at least not so stiff. Okay, so once we're kind of feeling that motion, extend, reach, bend, knee to shoulder. This is the crucial part. The closer this knee gets to your shoulder, the easier this next transition is going to be. Okay, so you're going to set the foot down. I'm going to transition to a lunge, and I'm on my ball of my foot, tiptoe. You can be flat-footed, ball of the foot, personalize it however you want to. Once that foot gets there, I'm trying to bring the foot in front of my hand, but if it doesn't quite go there, once again, it's going to look a little different on everyone. But my goal is to bring that foot in front of the hand. As soon as I do, I'm going to drop my back leg back. Okay. Reason for that is I want to get to where this elbow is as close to being underneath this leg as possible. Okay, so once that is there, I'm going to bend this elbow so it's underneath here. My other hand was even here. As soon as that leg comes around to here, I'm going to shift this hand, move it back, and turn it out. Okay, so what that's going to look like is initially my hands are here. This elbow is going to drop out this way. This one is going to externally rotate, slide down, and I'm placing my elbow, much like you would with the croc. This is basically your croc arm, but like I said, it's not really a full croc. Your goal is to place this elbow somewhere between your hip and your belly button. Okay, so you want to really think of crunch to that side, shift that belly button or that elbow in towards your belly button. Depending on the size of the girls, you might have to scoop the girls a little bit and push them to the side as well. Okay, especially those of you that have sensitive wrists, this one definitely will feel more comfortable if you turn the fingers out. You don't have to have the fingers out, but I do find it's a little bit less tension on the wrist if you do turn it out. Okay, so this one, elbow drops underneath your leg. This one externally rotates, slides back. Try and impale yourself on your elbow, like I said, somewhere between your belly button and your hip, and think of crunching this side ever so slightly. Okay, so leg goes back, leg comes up, knee to shoulder, extend, drop to a lunge. Drop the elbow underneath, and the hand can shift a little bit if need be. The other hand is going to shift back and turn out. And then from there, I'm going to start to slide down, okay? Flexibility wise, if you get to this spot and you're like, and I'm maxed out, this front leg can slide this way so it ends up like a faux split. That's really what this is. It's a faux split. It's not a vertical split, okay? Depending on your angles, it will look like a magical vertical split, but it's definitely not a full vertical split, okay? So as I'm here, hands shifts, leg opens, I'm going to drop my head down, and like I said, I'm impaling myself on this back elbow. Rest your head on the ground, straighten this leg, see how it's resting on my elbow, and then you're engaging your glutes of this back leg to try to get this leg off the ground. Okay? Initially, um, we'll use the head. Eventually, down the road, you'll go into this transition and you won't even have to use your head. Okay, once you start to find where the balance is and where it's going, you'll start to find that glute engagement is what brings you up, and everything kind of engages and lifts at the same time. Okay, so from our lunge, shift, head drops down, engage the glutes to bring this leg up. Okay, depending on where you want to go with it, drop the shoulder to the ground and keep taking that leg up. Okay, so like a little bit of a face plant. Initially, it starts with like this little part of my head touching the ground. And then depending on how high you want to take it, I start to shift down so I feel it all the way to my shoulder. Okay, so let's look at what that looks like from the front, also so you can see how faux the split is, because it ain't real. Okay, so this leg comes up, around, and drops. Hand shifts back, extend, head drops down initially, raise that back leg. Then from there, you can shift to the shoulder as this leg goes up. Okay? So you can see it's all about the angles. Okay, so we've got that first part that's coming into that hand balance. Initially, it might not feel like a total hand balance. It might be a 1, a 2, a 3, and then the back leg might still be on the ground, and that's okay. Eventually, it's going to become a 1 and a 2, and that's it, depending on where you want to take it. Okay, so let's continue to add on to this and where our options are. This is where you can make it whatever shapes you want to make it. You can take it up into kind of a shoulder stand here, which is a lot of core engagement using your glutes, your rector spinae muscles. Take it into some wavy legs, take it into forward roll. It can turn into all kinds of fun transitions. We're just going to keep it simple for the sake of this tutorial, but feel free to play around with it and add on. Okay, so we started here with our initial extend, leg comes up, knee to shoulder, drop the toe, drop the hips, hand shifts back, impale yourself on your back elbow, leg extends, head drops, back leg butt engages. Then see if maybe you can lift the head and find that hover moment. Option, transition to shoulder, fun little split, option, both legs up and down, however you want to. Okay, so like I said, fun little transition that you can play around with. It definitely can put a little bit of strain on the wrists if you are newer to hand balancing stuff, or if you have sensitive wrists. So do make sure that you warm up your wrists and do some light stretching with your wrists. Likewise, at the end of this, you're probably going to want to do some light stretching the other way. Okay, so with this one, there is a lot of glute engagement also to be able to raise that leg. That back leg raising is really what helps you start to find that tip into this. Okay, so play around with that transition. Fun thing that you can incorporate into your floor work, put with your pole combos. You can do this one in heels, not in heels. I love it in heels with a good heel clack, but make it whatever you want it to be with this one, and however it works best for your style or preference for that day. Okay, so have fun with this. Let me know how it goes. Here's a fun floor combo for you to play around with that includes a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of hand balancing, and a little bit of flow. And you can mix and match how much of each of one of those components you want to have in it, depending on which ones you're most comfortable with. So for this one, you don't have to have a split for it, but it's, okay, you're not helping. You need to come over here. Come here. Down, lie down, down, stay. Stay. This one is a fun floor sequence that incorporates hand balancing, some flexibility, and some sensual flow. Okay, you can mix and match how much of each of those things it has for you, depending on which is more your preference, which is more your comfort zone, or just what you want it to look like. Okay, so for this one, it does have an option to go to kind of a vertical split E thing, but you don't have to have a vertical split with it at all. You can make the shape whatever you want it to be. Okay, it can be with bent legs, it can be with straight legs, whatever it is. Those of you that have worked on your croc before, this has a lot of similarities to the croc. Okay, no, you're not helping. You're gonna need to go in your crate. Okay, go to your place. No. I'm working here. You're not helping. Can you give me a high five? Okay, good high five. Thank you. That was a very good high five. But I'm going to need you to go take a seat over there. Mommy's got to work. Okay, go sit. Come here. Down. Stay. Stay. Let's try that again.